For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining Built Ford Tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2024 calendar year total sales.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and smart home technology is getting out of control. My fridge just signed up for a monthly hummus subscription. My microwave created a dating profile, and my thermostat is on TikTok. Meanwhile, ESPN 1063 keeps it simple. Sports talk, no spying, no privacy policy, not consenting to cookies. What am I supposed to do with all this hummus? ESPN 1063, the only thing we track is the score.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2025 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2025 Defender 110 P300S for just $889 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Monday, May the 12th, 2025. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Colin Russo with you. Mike Rizzo here as well. Alongside Christian Catt. We're from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. A rainy South Florida Monday as summer season is essentially upon us. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter /X at ESPN West Palm. Also on your radio dial over on ESPN 1063 for the next 2 hours right here on Russo and Rizzo. Mike, how you doing? Good?
Great. Had a good weekend despite, all my teams losing yesterday. But had a good weekend, and I'm ready for the sun to come back out. I'm not used to this dreariness of South Florida.
A lot of playoff action over the weekend, including 2 huge wins for the Florida Panthers in their building over at Amerant Bank Arena down in Sunrise, including a very emphatic Game 3 victory in overtime. Won yesterday 2-0. That series is tied 2-2. Game 5 will be a huge one up in Toronto later this week. The Cleveland Cavaliers fall down to 3-1. Lost by about 50 points yesterday. 41-point halftime deficit, tied for the largest in playoff history for a 1 seed, too. Unbelievable loss there. We'll break that down. You get Knicks Celtics Game 4. Which is going to be tonight. Celtics with a little bit of steam after taking Game 3 in Madison Square Garden. You got the Thunder tying it up against the Denver Nuggets, 2-2 in that series. Lots to talk about, lots to do right here on ESPN 1063. But Mike said he had a good weekend. I had a pretty good weekend, too. Here's the thing. I didn't know whether I was going to do this because, I don't know, it's a touchy topic, but I feel like I got to share this.
No, I feel like... You smell that?
No,
I feel like it has something to do with your...
We're good.
I feel like it has something to do with your Iron Man. I'm smelling a little Iron Man story.
Well, that's
here.
usually what I do on my weekends. That's usually what I do. So I'm training for a half Ironman at the moment, and then hopefully a full Ironman after that. And what that means is a bunch of swimming, a bunch of biking, a bunch of running. And on weekends, since you have a lot more time, I do long bikes and then long runs. I do long bikes on Saturdays, long runs on Sundays. Long runs usually entail about 10 to 15 miles to do that every Sunday. And I just do it Sunday morning, and then I come in for Sunday huddle right after. It usually is my routine. All right, problem is I'm at the point now in my training where nutrition is a big aspect of what you do. Nutrition, what do I mean by that? You could just go out and gut out a 7-mile run and probably be okay. But once you get into further and longer distances, keeping your energy and hydration high is paramount. It's a whole science. It really annoys me. But the whole point is I don't really have a full grasp of it yet because I'm basically a beginner. So what popular things that you do when you do stuff like this is you could have little carb waffles. You could have little snacks. You could have, and there's these goos. And the goos is like a syrup substance that you get in these packets. And you're supposed to have one every about 45 minutes to an hour, the whole thing. So I was going to do a half marathon distance, 13 miles-ish, on Sunday morning. So I got up at around 6 a.m. I was ready to rock and roll. The sun was coming out. It wasn't going to be too hot. And I had a normal dinner the night before. I had a normal night's sleep. Everything was pretty much okay. And so this is an interesting thing to share. We start out, I have a little loop around where I live. It's about a 3.5 mile loop, but also you could go down the street up towards 45th Street up in Northwest Palm Beach and then come back, and there's a whole thing.
You got your destination.
I got my route.
You're good.
I got my route.
You're good.
So I'm about 4 miles into it, 4 miles into it. I'm flying. I'm cooking. And for me, for my speed at least, it's around like a 7:40, 7:50, 8-minute mile. In that range, that's me giving a good speed. I feel good. The heart rate isn't too high. The whole thing, everything's clicking. So I'm feeling good, no hurt. And then it's about time when I get to about 4.75 that I need to take a nutrition.
Hang on, Kyle.
I need to goo.
Kyle. Goo?
So I need to take a goo. You take off a little packet. I have a little fanny pack that I have. And you take it off, and you got to take the substance, and then it gives you some jolt of energy. The whole thing.
It's
more, like carbs and the whole
Kyle,
thing.
One more time. Goo?
It's called a goo, yes. So I have to goo around the 4.75 mile mark. And sometimes it's 5, so I just do it by feel. And so I do it. It takes me, 15, 20 seconds, and then I get on churning again. I don't know if I make it another quarter mile before I realize something's up.
What's up?
Something's up with the stomach.
Oh,
and
no.
So something's up. And I'm not close to home base. And this has happened. It doesn't happen consistently. It happens before. Any person who does distance running knows that sometimes, the stomach gods don't agree with you.
And you're on a main road. This isn't like you could go find a tree and, defile a tree a bit and get back out and start running. You have no options. You're out of options.
So I need to go to the bathroom. And I'm in an area, like you said, this is a residential area. There's a golf course. There's not a lot of trees. There's not a lot of cover.
You didn't want to go over.
95 is right here. I don't have a lot of. Listen. You
didn't want to do the golf course.
I exercised most options. I was thinking, and I'm about 1.5 miles, 1.75 away from where I live. Now, it's one of those things, it's sort of like a mental game. So I'm like, all right, happy place, happy place, happy place. And I'm trying to slow down, keep it steady, and just keep moving. And then hopefully I'll breathe, I'll come back to consciousness and I'm back.
Did you think about maybe walking for a little bit?
No, the thing is you walk and then you tell your body.
You're done.
It's time to go.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So there's a saying amongst runners that you're not supposed, and people that do triathlons, the whole thing. And hopefully people can see where I'm going here. You're not supposed to trust a fart after mile 6. That's the idea.
Oh, God, dude. Oh, God.
You're not supposed to trust a fart after mile 6. That's the idea. So, unfortunately, I think that little saying crept up around mile 5.
Oh, no.
You shouldn't trust a fart around mile 5. I'm about 1.5 miles from where I live, mile 25. There was nothing I could do.
So, you had a wet stinker.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw. So right when we talked about it last week, when people do this purposely on races for some reason, yeah.
Christian, he soiled his pants, or as my mother used to call it when we were growing up.
I had an accident.
You had a wet stinker.
I had an accident.
You had a wet stinker.
I had an accident. And listen, this is one of those things.
Wow.
This is one of those
That's
things.
one of my, Christian, I can't lie, it's one of my biggest fears. Christian Cat, our producer behind the glass. Christian, it's one of my biggest fears is having a wet stinker in public.
Colin Russo would destroy you, me, or anyone else if this occurred to them. And it happened to you.
It would.
Here's the thing. It was one of those moments where the second it happened, it wasn't like a child's mess, but I had compression on, so, it wasn't going to, dribble down my leg. But this was an
right.
issue.
Well,
this was an issue.
Well, I got a couple of questions here. Number one, goo. Maybe we lay off the goo.
Yeah, the goo's gonna be. The goo's gonna be out. The goo's done.
Maybe we lay off the goo.
The goo's good on the bike, but we're not doing it on the run. I agree with that.
But like,
we're not doing it on the run.
I'm still trying to comprehend what this goo is. I'm thinking
it's a syrupy little packet. It's 2-3 inches high, and you just rip off the top, and then you kind of just gotta close out the packet.
I think the goo got compromised. It got compromised.
It's one of those days.
Compromised.
It's one of those days, and I've never been somebody that's had the most apt digestive system in the world. Let's just put it that way. But I was in a position there where, all right. The thing is, it was a little precursor. I needed to still go. And this was a Sunday morning. I was considering Ubering.
So let me get, no. Ubering's crazy. You're going to get in a car with a wet stinker?
Mike, you've never been in this situation.
Colin, you don't get in another man's car after you soil yourself. You're going to get in the car, he's going to go, get out. He's going to smell it.
I was looking at trees. There was a little creek. I was looking at that. I looked everywhere. But ultimately, I'm like, I could gut this out back to where I live. I could gut this out.
I would have, Colin, if it was that bad, I probably would have just went in some field. And God, if someone saw me, fair play to him.
No,
man.
yeah, but there was no drugstore with a dumpster next to it. There's none of that. If there was, I would have used it. Behind the stores, nothing. There was nothing.
And it wasn't the diarrhea type, right? It wasn't the runny type.
We don't need to get into the actual specifics of yes, it wasn't. But we don't need to get into the specifics of that. Point is, I had to gut this out for about 1.5 miles back. And it was one of those things where right when it happened, I'm like, I'm not doing the 13. Forget it.
Yeah,
this is God's way. This is God's way of telling me, not today.
I was nonetheless thinking if you had, God forbid, you had something dripping down your leg on the run, if someone saw you were soiling yourself.
I don't know why. Listen, it was one of those things where I probably could have died with this and nobody would have ever gotten it out of me.
But yeah, it's
one of those things. I think it's a rite of passage. Because I think this happens to more people than I think. Yep. And listen, if you've never been in a situation like this, you're lying to yourself. This happens to everybody. But for me, it was humbling. And now I'm going to have to change up because now I'm like, listen, I got the legs for it. I could probably do the race, but now I got to figure out the nutrition aspect of it. And because I don't want to have an accident on the race. And thankfully, you're able to do it in the comfort of your own practice.
Now, Colin, to your point, I told you I played a lot of basketball growing up. There were a couple of times when I was at my local rec and I was, going hard on the court, and then all of a sudden something happened. I literally ran off the court and did exactly what you said. Ran into the bathroom and
I didn't have a bathroom,
but you know what I mean? Like I had a moment where. But my question is like, when was the last time you actually soiled your pants? Because obviously Colin was very recent. I was 6. I told you. This is one of the things I fear. I make sure that if I'm doing things, that I'm all good. You know what I mean? That's why first thing I do, Constitution in the morning. That's it. Coffee, morning Constitution. So I'm good. I don't have to go at work. I don't have to go at that. But, sometimes things pop up.
Right.
And I'm sure, Colin, people listening right now have soiled their pants recently.
888-760-3776. If you've had an accident while running or something like that, please alleviate my, annoyance about this. 888-760-3776.
Like my buddy did it. We were at a ball game, Kyle. We were at a ball game. He was having beers and hot dogs, and he did it in the stands. He had to go home. He thought he would.
See, I'd rather do it on a run. I'd rather do it on a run than that.
I'm not going to throw my boy under the bus by telling his name, but we were sitting in the bleachers at Progressive Field, and he's trying to be funny. He goes, haha, and he lifts his leg up to go, to fart. And something else happened.
How he lifting his leg like it's a cartoon?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? When you're sitting down and he goes, boys, and then lifted the leg up, and then all of a sudden he gave us the eyes, and we all started dying laughing because we knew he just soiled himself. It happens when you're in public.
I know.
It happens.
And listen, it was one of those moments where now I'm going to have to change up the diet regimen and the thing is I had a normal dinner. I had the same dinner every single night. I had the same dinner the night before. I even tried to go, I went to the bathroom before I left. It was one of those things where the second you start running, it's one of everything starts churning. And so I made it all the way back though, before it got worse. Let's just put it that way. And you had the discard of the underoos, so those are gone. Goodbye. And
The goo?
yeah,
I mean, dude.
no, the underoot, like goodbye.
Yeah, oh, dude,
Yeah.
the underwear?
Goodbye.
Throw them in the lake.
So, but it was one of those things where this hopefully will not come up in the future. But the funny thing is, you said the last time it was 6. I think this is unfortunately, this is the second time in a year that this has happened.
Stop it. Stop
This is
it.
the second time in a year.
You have soiled yourself 2 times in 1 year.
2 times in a year.
Hang on, it's 2025, Kyle. We just started.
I know.
You soiled
I'm
yourself.
sorry, in the past 12 months.
Okay, all right.
So let's make it not.
I was
not
about
since
to say,
I-
you
not
so-
since I moved to Florida. Not since I moved to Florida. So after I graduated, I went to Europe and I backpacked for a month. This is bad.
You
This
in
is not
Europe.
good. This is
Dude,
not good.
between the
No,
granny hanging her...
This is not good.
Hang on.
You're not gonna like
Hang on.
this.
Between the granny hanging her panties
You're
in
not
the
gonna like
hostel
this.
and then
You're
you
not gonna like
pooping
this.
yourself. What's
This is
going
not
on
good.
in Europe,
You're
dude?
not gonna like this.
What's going on in Europe?
You're not gonna like this.
It's filthy over
So
there.
hold on. So I was in Switzerland, which is not a filthy country, and I had one of those days where I was solo traveling. I had a bunch of activities planned. I was riding like one of those scooters down a mountain in Grindelwald, Switzerland, and I did a mountain climb thing where you're climbing on the edge of a mountain for about 4 hours. It took us 4 hours. So it was a very physically active and adrenaline-inducing day. Great day. Perfect weather. I got up at 6. I got back at 7. And the best part is I do that little mountain climb thing. It's done at around 5, 6 o'clock, and I got a little bit of a commute on the way back. And on the bus, I meet this beautiful couple from University of Hawaii. I started chatting it up with them. We go back we're walking back there in the same hostel as me. We're talking about where we're all going to go out that night. It was great. I was literally having an A+ day. And you go across the street from the hostel, you get a scoop of ice cream, and you give yourself a little pat in the back. What a day. What a day, Colin. What a day. And it was one of those things where you go back to the hostel, and this is what you don't know about hostels. There's a guy manning the grill, and he said it's bring your own meat day. So you go to the grocery store, and you got to buy a slab of meat, and he'll cook it up for you and serve you dinner, which is fantastic. So I was all stoked. I was like, all right, I'm going to go up, shower, get my life together. Then I'm going to go get a slab of meat from the grocery store, and this stranger at the hostel is going to cook it for me. So it's great. And I'm excited for that, the whole thing. I go up to the hostel room. I'm in a 12-person hostel room. Oh, God. By the grace of God, nobody else was in there. By the grace of God. I step in there. I had like a little drawstring backpack, and it was one of those things where you got to let out a little toot. It's not a toot.
Oh.
This one was bad.
It was a wet stinker.
This one was bad, and I wasn't wearing compression, so this was all right, I got a 9-second window between here and the bathroom.
Oh, my God.
So I made it.
Oh,
we're all good.
God.
But it was one of those things. I'm like, how the hell did this happen? Why is this happening? I don't understand. I didn't eat anything.
You had to throw the underwear out.
Yeah, that was thrown out. I threw that out.
You
in the
had to
dumpster
shower
outside a
again.
hostel.
You had to shower
It was
again.
It was before the shower, so thank God.
Oh, God.
But the thing is, it was like, doesn't smell great.
No.
And this is a hostel floor with about 78 other people living there. So I got to spray. I'm spraying everywhere. So I threw out the underwear, but I'm like, I need to discard of the trash. This is a whole ordeal. Yep. And I finally I think I got away with it. So if you were in Switzerland when I was, now you know.
So I told you I haven't done it since I was 6, but Kyle, plenty of close calls. And one of them was I was with an ex up in Chicago, and we were out and about. I had a bad dog. Kyle, we got like a street meat dog. She wanted a hot dog. Had a bad dog.
I want to flow through you.
And it was to the point where like, all right, I have a decision. I'm either going to run into this no names please hotel and beg them for me to use the bathroom. Kyle, I ran into the hotel, slipped the guy. I go, so-and-so.
One of those moments, dude.
And then hang on. I have a saying for it. You run into the bathroom, trumpets, dude. Like just,
okay.
I got the whole orchestra.
I got it.
The whole orchestra.
I got it.
Trumpets.
We got it.
But I've had numerous scenarios where that's the case.
Close calls.
But thankfully never soiled myself.
888-760-3776. If this has happened to you, let us know. 888-760-3776. We had Jeff. Jeff left.
We had Jeff who soiled himself.
We got John in West Palm joining us now on Russo and Rizzo. John, welcome into the program. What do you got for us?
What's up, buddy? Hey, I got a story for you. I listen to you cats every day. Best show on the radio. I listen to you religiously every single day.
Love that,
Thank you,
John.
brother.
Thank
Yes,
you.
my man. We love you.
What do you got for us?
I'm a sports fanatic, and I am also. But anyway, I go play my lottery tickets every Saturday morning, and I had an accident. It was something I was on A1A, I could not even make it from Lantana Road to Boynton Beach Boulevard on A1A. And I was standing up in my car. And the next morning, I traded my car, and I had a brand new car.
Oh my God!
Hold on, you gave a defunct car back to the dealership?
So you
wait, you didn't even clean it?
I cleaned it. I had to tie my shorts off. My wife had to run a towel to my front stoop, and I went out, hurried up, cleaned the car. So tan leather seats had brown leather strings, and I traded it in the next morning. I went down to Geico down in Delray, and I traded it in on a brand new car the next morning. I could not even get in the car.
He couldn't make it to the trumpet stage. He had to go in the car. God,
John.
that's the worst, John.
John, appreciate the call.
Thank you, John.
So John,
and thank you for listening,
either
John.
luckily had getting a new car the next day, or he expedited the process and realized I need a new car now.
There's a process of this. It's the wet stinker or the trumpets. And you want to be able to make it to the trumpets in the orchestra. If you have the wet stinker like Colin did, dude, that's why I said a lot of close calls, Kyle. A lot of close calls in my time. But thankfully, since I was the young age of 6, I never have went in my pants.
888-760-3776. Colin Russo had a bit of an accident on Sunday during his long run. We go to Mike in Illinois joining the program now. Mike, welcome in. What do you got for us?
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing, Riz?
Mikey. I'm all right.
Mike, you got a story too?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate to say it, but for me, it's a whole way of life.
What? Mikey, you don't tell me. Mikey Peoria. What? Hang on, time out. I've known you for the better half of 3.5 years. Don't tell me you soil your pants on the regular.
Negative. But just let me finish it real quick. It's a lifestyle for me. I'm disabled. I sit in I'm a single guy, never been married, no kids. I got a 1-bedroom pad. I sit in my apartment with a T-shirt on and nothing else but a blanket over my lap when I'm in my recliner all day, every day. And sometimes I just have to get up and sprint to the commode. But I've never not made it. But I'm always prepared like a Boy Scout.
Couple of close calls.
Oh, there's been a few close calls, but if I wasn't only wearing a T-shirt, there'd have been some soiling going on. But I'm not that stupid. I'm a Bradley University graduate.
Absolutely, Mike. So you make it to what I call the trumpet stage. You've made it every time to the trumpet stage.
Don't try to make this trumpet thing work. Don't try to make this work.
Absolutely, but I just want Russo to know that once twice in a year was a little weird to hear, but once in a lifetime, whatever. But I live like that every day, man. A blanket over my unclosed bottom half.
Yeah,
Winnie the Pooh in it.
It's one of those you're not. It's like one of you're not alone moments,
dude. The Winnie the Pooh reference is Mikey. Yeah, little Winnie the Pooh.
Hey, I got one more thing to say before I go.
Yep.
Hey, Riz, I hate to say it, buddy, but I think Jim is still steamed about you ghosting him on his birthday. Today he went off on Rizzo's worst take ever. You said that Derek Carr was elite.
Hang on. I said that back when. Hang on. In my defense, Mikey, I said Carr was elite back when he lost on the goal line to the Bengals in the playoffs, who went to the Super Bowl that year.
And Jimmy said, yeah, he was elite at making money, 15th most ever in an NFL career. But he was on your case today, man.
It's okay. It's all right.
Appreciate the call, Mike.
Thanks, Mikey.
888-760-3776.
Hang on, C-Cat. Can I go back to the Winnie the Pooh reference? That was elite.
Yeah.
We've all been there, too.
This is a you're not alone moment. Jeff in Palm Beach Gardens, you're on Russo and Rizzo. Jeff, what do you got for us?
What's up, fellas? How's it going today?
All good.
This isn't more or less a soiled myself story. So this was what am I? I'm 46 now. I was 17 years old playing travel baseball in Ohio. Okay, we're playing Ohio State University. Our team's staying at a hotel. Okay, and right outside the hotel is a nudie bar. So we see a bunch of women We go in, we eat McDonald's. I'm sitting in the girl's car talking to these girls. All of a sudden, I feel a turtle head coming up. I had a shit.
Let's dump that.
Oh, God.
Jeff, you're on a roll. Jeff, you're on a roll.
So Jeff said a gentleman's club. He ate McDonald's.
Jeff.
And he felt a little something.
Jeff, this is the radio. Come on.
I think he made it to the trumpet stage, Kyle.
Yeah, he was in it. See, the thing is, it was an interesting story. We had to dump that, unfortunately, Jeff. But let's use different verbiage when we're talking about this. We'll take a timeout, take more calls on the flip side. 888-760-3776. Had a bit of an accident. We'll get into some sports later on in the program. Stick around. Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Is your air or water flowing perfectly in your home? If the answer is no, EDS is yes. Theo here, and for me, EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing is my go-to, and it should be yours too. EDS is Palm Beach County's trusted AC and plumbing expert. They'll make sure your air and water flow perfectly. EDS is a train comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. Go to edsisyes.com. That's edsisyes.com. When comfort matters, EDS is yes.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, cause you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Get a taste of that winning feeling before the buzzer sounds with ESPN Bet's early victory promo. Simply place a pregame moneyline bet on any NBA playoff game, and if the team you back goes up by 20 or more points at any point in the game, your bet will get paid out early. Available throughout the NBA playoffs at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Download the app today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
It's Tina. You know how important it is to keep your car running. And when it comes to my car, I only trust St. Lucie Battery and Tire. They've been taking care of South Florida for over 50 years, and they're still family owned. Need new tires? They've got all the big brands. Battery issues? They've got it. Cars, trucks, boats, RVs, and even commercial fleets. And if you ever get stuck, their 24/7 roadside emergency service is a total lifesaver. Go see my friends at St. Lucie Battery and Tire, slbt.com. They'll keep you going.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Start the summer at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium for a fun and jam-packed Memorial Day weekend. Friday, May 23rd is a Dog Day Friday at 6:30 p.m. Saturday, May 24th is Hometown Heroes Night, presented by Gordon and Partners with post-game fireworks as we honor all military members, first responders, and local heroes. Sunday, May 25th, all fans can enjoy discounted $10 tickets. Stop by the ticket office to purchase your tickets or go to RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
You heard it, the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. You've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall. My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, the type to fight for you. I know with Anajar and Levine, they got my back no matter what. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today, because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes is one phone call to take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation today. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063. A day removed from my second soil of my pants in a year.
Well, you're calling it what you call a soil. I call a wet stinker, but fair play.
We don't need the trumpets. We don't need all this.
Well, it's we don't need you want to make it to the trumpet stage.
We don't need that. 888-760-3776. Happened to me while I was running. I'm training, and it's one of those things that you can't avoid.
Christian, a bad goo? He ate a bad goo?
Good thing it was a weekend. That would ruin a day. Imagine coming into work, even if you can get all cleaned up.
You got to feel like you got to laugh about it, right?
Yeah, but that's hard to bounce back from in 2 hours.
Yeah.
24 hours, okay. Fresh night of sleep. But if you started your day that way and then had a Russo and Rizzo at 4, maybe had to talk to a CEO of a company at noon, and that's on your mind, that would be a pretty tough mental block.
And there's no way it wouldn't come up. There's no way it wouldn't come up.
Right.
There's no way it wouldn't come up. I'd have to share it with somebody. 888-760-3776. If it's happened to you, please let us know.
So you sell rubber. Well, it reminds me of what happened to me today.
You're not going to like it. Because it's... Listen, you're not above it. It's happened to everybody. You're not above it. Christian's not above it. Mike's not above it. I'm not above it. I just got nailed by it a couple more times than a normal person.
Beyond belief, close calls I've had, but thankfully.
Oh, I've had a dozen as well.
There needs to be a ribbon for this.
Yeah, but it's happening like a dozen. You're like, oh God, thank God.
What you want? So that day you wanted Colin to walk around with a sticker that said I soiled myself today?
No, not that day. I think that there should be maybe one day a year.
When you dodge it.
No, just awareness. Like, hey, we're among you.
Is this one of those you're not alone moments? Let's go to the phone lines. 888-760-3776. Ryan in Jupiter joins the program now on Russo and Rizzo. Ryan, welcome in. What do you got?
What's going on, boys? How are you?
Excellent. What's up?
Yeah, so you set me up perfect for this one, talking about work. I'm about 19 years old at the time. I'm 24 now, so just a few years ago. I'm working in a restaurant, a high-end restaurant.
Oh, boy.
I'm at this table, and I'm a waiter. And, man, I feel it coming. I say, oh, boy, this is going to be one of those silent but deadlies. It was a silent but wetly. And I painted my initials all in my drawers around a table of multimillionaires.
So did they hear this?
Oh, no, it was silent, but I knew it, and they could probably see it right on my face. And, you know, this is the middle of a dinner rush. You know, people are eating all around me. I feel so terrible. I just had to run to the bathroom. Them drawers ended up in the dumpster.
And then you continued on with your shift.
Oh, I had to.
So you went commando. You went commando for the rest. Now, did it leak to the pants?
No.
Thankfully,
it was. Yeah, it was just a little Hershey squirter. Nothing too serious.
What's with
that?
You,
is a
Ryan?
wet
You're the same thing as Mike. What is with you guys in the description
Ryan,
of this?
that is what we call a wet stinker. That is what we call a wet stinker.
What is with the description of this? I like, geez, we don't need that specific. But all right, so Ryan, this has happened to you. But that's a high stress. I would rather it happen to me in that spot than you in that spot in the dinner spot.
Well, yeah,
that's I think it's bad as it gets.
I told you, Kyle, bartender 5 years, whole 9 yards.
That's as bad as it gets.
Thankfully, boys, never even had a close call at the bar. Thankfully.
I feel like that is not a finish your shift type emergency. That's you go home. And I think everyone understands if you have a bathroom emergency in the middle of a shift.
He said a high-end restaurant.
Guys, hang on. And if I could butt in here, he said it was during the rush. Dude, try going home during the rush. You're not going to have a job.
Yeah, so you're leaving. You're leaving everybody.
If you go up to your boss and say, "Hey, man, I soiled myself. I need to go home." He's going to say, dude, we have a pair of pants in the back. Get back out there. Unless you're
They're more
ill.
worried about the shift than they are about your well-being.
Correct.
I tend to agree with Mike here. I agree with Mike.
They got to get another body in there. You know what I mean?
So, Mike, you know this. Anyone who's worked in a restaurant or any place that serves food, you have the mop bucket closet that has the faucet. You got to drop trowel,
little bidet,
Red Eagle, and just do some damage there.
Yeah,
and get back out there.
Yeah, well, first off, you got to get to the trumpet stage in the bathroom, and then when that's done,
with the trumpet
you go back. You go back to the basin.
Yeah.
You go back to the basin after. To Christian's point, you go to the basin and you figure something out. But in there, you have all the soap you need to clean everything as well. So
I'd rather it happen to me in my situation running a mile and a half from where I live than Ryan and Jupiter in a high-end restaurant. I think that's as bad as it gets. I think that's as bad as it gets.
And yeah, I can't stress enough. If he were to walk out,
I
he
was
would
waiting
not
to
be
see
back.
where Jeff was. I mean, Jeff might have been. Jeff was in a tricky spot in a parking lot talking to some girls.
First off, I guess it's a rite of passage if you're going to a gentleman's club to eat some McDonald's before. So I found something new today. And I never heard of a Hershey, the Hershey squirter.
That's enough. Don't
Ryan
make that
said,
catch.
so.
We don't need to do that.
It's funny. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. It's hysterical.
Gosh, unbelievable. It happens. But it's one of those, nobody's bigger than it. Christian, you've been surprisingly quiet. You don't have a story like this?
Oh, he has.
I got more than I can count, brother.
Oh, God, dude. Are you serious?
I was being courteous. I was letting you have the spotlight.
I don't need the
Christian, not recent. Probably 12, 11, right? 11, 12 years old. Not recent.
Junior year of college. Driving home from Spanish class. Mixed 2 different fast foods. Probably shouldn't do that. Earned the hard way. Thankfully, college apartment was vacant.
Did you ruin the car?
It didn't happen in the car. It happened while trying to unlock the front door of the apartment building.
That is not bad.
You didn't make it? You couldn't hold it in? You're there.
I wouldn't be telling the story if I could.
Christian, you're there.
The thing is, your mind understands how close you are, and it betrays you. It thinks that you're opening the door to a restroom.
That's why I couldn't stop running and start walking. Because if I started walking, all of a sudden my body thinks it's go time.
Yeah.
It's go time. You got to trick your body otherwise.
I am so trained to the point where I train myself to where I don't have to go to the bathroom.
I thought I was too.
You know what I mean?
Thought I was too. It's one of those things where you can't help it. You can't avoid it.
It's like, obviously, like you said, sometimes you have to go. Like you're at work and you got to go. But I don't like going unless I'm at home. And the point I'm trying to make is, do you want to know what I think is completely psychotic? Is going on an airplane. You got to make sure.
You only go on an airplane if you have to go.
You got to make sure if you're on an airplane that, I wake up in these mornings that I have flights 2 hours before. So I don't have to go on. You know what I mean? So I don't have to go on the airport. Too many times I've walked into a bathroom on an airplane when I have to, go number one. And it's just like, and every time I go, what kind of psychopath does this on an airplane?
You think people are doing this by choice?
Yeah, no, they don't
it's
wake
not
up
like
in the
I'm
morning
kind of
and think,
psychopath.
I'm looking forward to getting on the plane so I go to the bathroom.
Nobody's
doing that.
I think you're a psychopath if you go on a flight. I got to be completely honest.
It's an emergency. Now you're not being empathetic towards the emergency.
My brother told me he did that a couple of times ago, a couple months ago when he was on a flight, and I called him a psycho for it.
You got 100 people on an aircraft.
He said, Mike, I couldn't help. He's saying exactly what you guys said, Mike, I couldn't help it. Dude.
There's a 1% chance you might have to do that on an airplane.
Never.
So odds are it's going to happen to one person every single flight. Think about that.
It'll never happen to Mike Rizzo on a flight.
Happened to me on a Greyhound once, Chicago to Madison.
Oh, dude, that's all
on
right.
a bus. Not to me, but to somebody on the bus, and the bathroom broke down. That was a rough one.
Jailed.
That was a rough one.
Jailed.
Because everybody knew.
On a bus.
Everybody knew. And the bus driver had to make an announcement.
Jailed.
Hey, there's an issue here.
Bathroom closed. Duration.
Bathroom's closed. You're gonna and they said you're gonna have to deal with the smell. We'll do what we can. You're gonna have to deal with it, and that was it.
I like that being a part of. It's not self-explanatory, the smell, and you can't just eliminate.
It was
odor.
It was a guy, and he must have been mid-20s, and luckily he had a fun personality with it because he's like. He raised his hand and said, sorry about that. That's on me. That's on me. You got to wear that on the chin. You got to keep moving.
You really do.
You got to talk yourself.
You got to keep it moving.
Listen, I will never see
that.
these people again in my life. You got to repeat that to yourself for that occurrence. For that guy to raise his hand and have a sense of humor with that in the moment.
You got to wear it on the chin. That's the only way to do it. If you play it silent, everybody knows it's you. There's no hiding it. Just, guys, sorry.
I respect it. I honestly got it. I respect
that's
that.
On me. I think that's what he said. I said that's on me.
I respect that. I do.
Getting off on the next stop. I don't care where it is, and I'm figuring it out from there. If I'm that guy in that moment, I'm not owning it. You cannot own it in the moment. You can laugh about it the following day and tell the story and be like whatever, but in the moment, never would own up to it.
I don't know. That's a tricky spot. It's a tough spot.
Own it. You got no.
I don't.
No choice. You got no choice.
On
guys,
that. I don't.
Guys. That's
everyone, there are people who saw you There are people who saw you go in there and were in there for longer than 5 minutes. What are you doing in there? You know,
listen,
what do you think you're doing in there? Baking cookies?
He's got to do it. I'm not perfect, just like you guys. All right, I'm not perfect, just like you guys. All right,
sue me.
Just like you guys.
What else is it? What's not?
It's not my best day.
Are there any other places where it's not proper etiquette to blow the bathroom up? I think airplane. I think etiquette. Bus. It's etiquette.
You can't control it. You can't control it.
But it's etiquette. You can't control it. You know you're going to be on that bus and that airplane during the day. What are you eating? What are these people eating before? Hot wings? Like, what are we doing here?
Listen, the society is really on edge here because we are such a coffee drinking industry, and coffee does induce bodily functions. So we are kind of playing with fire every single day as a society. If coffee is a part of your everyday routine, and that routine is in public, be careful, folks.
See, I got burned by that on Sunday. I don't drink coffee, which is absurd. Like, it's just the goose. The goose. Got to stay away from
it.
It's like goo? It's like the applesauce that are in packets, except it's not applesauce, right? That's how it's served?
It's a little thicker than that. It's
okay.
I'm like 5.
It's like almost a little syrupy, but yes.
You guys got to realize, I'm like 5 years old, and I hear goo. I can't help but to start laughing.
Right.
What in the hell are you eating?
It's a carb thing.
What is he eating?
To describe it as goo.
Christian, what the hell is he eating?
The brand is called Goo. G-U.
Good marketing.
What was the 90s movie with the green glob dancing around? Every time I hear goo, that's where my mind goes.
That's what you have. That's what you got to do. You got to figure it out that way. 888-760-3776. Mike thinks it's unethical.
Unethical.
You can't control it. That's the one thing I'll say.
But you know you're going to be on an airplane. Don't eat like a, Like, you know what? Like, don't eat something that, oh, God, I'm going to be in trouble in 2 hours. And, like, most of these flights that I take are, like, in the afternoon because I'm not necessarily a morning person. Like, fair play to Kyle. He could hop on a flight at 5 in the morning.
I'm always the first flight out.
That's awesome. I can't wake up at 3:30 in the morning, man. I'm a night owl. Hooting with the owls. Hoot, hoot.
888-760-3776. Go to the phone lines. D in Jupiter's joining us now on Russo and Rizzo. D, what do you got for us?
Hey, I got you guys on speakerphone here, so if you can hear me all right.
Hear you just fine.
Got you, brother.
Can you hear me?
Just
got
fine.
You. Yep.
What do you got, D?
We got you.
Hey, you got to lay off the goose, man. You got to lay off the goose.
Yeah.
D, do you know the goose?
D, explain to me what a goo is.
Listen, 18 freaking full marathons, 1 ultra. The goo makes you go doo-doo. You can't have the goo. You got to have nice carbs in the morning, some pasta, some meat sauce, and that's it.
What about during the run?
During the run, well, you got to have a handkerchief on your head and a handkerchief in your hand because you never know what's going to happen. So I was doing a 3-hour run when I first came down to Florida about 15 years ago. Nighttime. I don't know anything about reclaimed water. It's 99 degrees in September. I'd take a little dip in the reclaimed water. 45 minutes go by. You know what reclaimed water does to you, right? So you got to have the old handkerchief handy.
Wow. Oh, my God. You jumped in the water and then you got killed there?
No, the sprinklers. Sprinklers.
Yeah, right. Oh, my gosh.
I don't know anything about reclaimed water. You get that stuff in your mouth, your body, and then it could do some serious damage. So
you had compromised water?
So D, do I eat anything during these runs? You're somebody with experience in this. I've heard gummy bears or candy or something is actually pretty good comparatively to the goose. You got to stay away from the goose.
Yeah, the candy around mile 22, Red Bull. You slam a Red Bull. I slammed a beer one time down in West Palm Beach.
That a boy, D.
I don't know if D's our role model here. I mean, D's a tough son of a gun. You can totally tell. But
absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely. So I wasn't following that water thing.
So the water of sprinklers, the stuff in the ground, it's contaminated.
So and he drank it.
No, but like if you're walking through a sprinkler, sometimes you open your mouth because you get water there.
And it got it. Okay.
And I guess it got his functions moving. You got to stay away from the goose, though. And that's somebody with experience right there. He said an ultra marathon. So how about that? So that's somebody with real running experience.
What's an ultra marathon?
Anything over 26.2.
So you're just showing off at that point?
There's 30s, there's 50 miles, there's 100 miles. There's one going on right now in Arizona. It's
Christian,
250 miles. It takes them days to do it.
Can I be completely honest with you? I run 3 miles 5 days a week, and every time that treadmill tells me 3, I'm kissing the ground that I'm done. I don't know how people could just truck through 20, like sweating, whole 9 yards, Christian. Like, oh my God, I'm exhausted after 26 miles. 26 miles.
Yeah.
And at a 7, You run it at a 7:30 pace?
That's a little slower.
Christian, I'm
aiming at 8. I'm aiming at 8.
So Christian, during my 3 miles, each mile is like I do it in like 9:20. You know what I mean? I do my miles in about 9:10, 9:20. And I'm like I said, huffing and puffing, dude. Fair play to everybody that could just go 26 miles without breaking. That is insane, dude.
Pardon me to rewind a little bit. You said there is a 250-mile marathon?
It's an ultra, and it's in Arizona right now. It starts in Sedona, and it goes like up through Flagstaff, so it's like a lot of elevation gain. It takes people days to do it. People track it. It's like the hardest race in America, and it's 250 miles.
So
I don't know exactly what it's called.
So how is this just not a couple of marathons back to back to back, right? Like I feel like a marathon's got to be beginning and ending, and there's no sleeping between.
So good question. People they don't sleep much, but they have moments in time where they got to sleep for a couple hours here and there. I had a buddy who has done all this stuff, and he loves this fitness stuff. He did it in Jensen Beach. He did an ultra marathon. It was 100 miles. It took him 21 hours to do it. 10-minute pace the whole way, about 10:30 pace, and he didn't go to sleep.
He trucked up for 2,100 miles?
No. 100 miles. No, he's not running he's not running from here to Chicago. But no, from Jensen Beach. No, excuse me, from like Cape Canaveral down to Jensen Beach, Fort Pierce area.
100 miles in 21 hours.
Took him 21 hours.
Okay.
So it was about a 10-minute-ish mile. I'm sure he had stoppages here and there, bathrooms and food and stuff like that. But he didn't sleep. And that was like the whole thing. And he would have weekends where he did 26.2 on Saturday and then 26.2 on Sunday. And that was like the training measurement. It's unbelievable what those ultramarathoners can do. 100 miles.
You know what this is? This is people just trying to one-up the people in their social circle. Like, oh, you only ran a marathon?
Maybe that's part of it. Some people are just addicted to it, addicted to that, the pain and suffering and the process of it all. Nonetheless, we got to do a little temperature check with some sports. John C. Cassidy, of course, coming up on the flip side. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 106.3, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
The school district of Palm Beach County is your best choice.
It's time to step into kindergarten. Parents, the school district of Palm Beach County is now enrolling kindergarten students. All incoming students receive a free kindergarten readiness kit to help practice reading and math this summer. Register now at palmbeachschools.org/kindergarten. That's palmbeachschools.org/kindergarten.
It's been a chilly start to the year, but don't let the rising temperatures catch you off guard. Hey, it's Colin Russo, and since 1960, John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing has proudly served Palm Beach County, keeping homes cool and comfortable. Now's the time to upgrade your AC with great financing options. Plus, ask about the Cassidy Care Club, providing year-round peace of mind. Cassidy is part of our local community and supports organizations like the YMCA and the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association. Keep cool with Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Find out more at CassidyAC.com.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Go kick off your day with a victory down at F45 West Palm Beach. Locations in Wellington as well. F45, more the functional side of working out. In and out, 45-minute classes. You got 2 coaches on site making sure you're doing everything properly. Bunch of like-minded fitness individuals. It's that type of place where you can walk in, kind of turn your brain off, get a sweat going, feel good about the rest of your day walking out, because you can just follow along on the screens in front of you, and the screens tell you exactly what to do, how to do it, and how long to do it for. That's what F45 has to offer. Go get your first 3 classes for just $30, or train for something like High Rocks. They accommodate for all, more the functional, fun side of working out. That's F45. Go check out their Instagram, F45 Downtown West Palm Beach. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat with us as always. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Sports over the weekend, NHL, NBA, MLB. A lot of highs, a lot of lows. A lot of these playoff series are getting very, very interesting as we kind of enter into the second half of these the NBA and Stanley Cup playoffs. And we'll have a little bit of an in-betweener that we could start to figure out who's real title contenders, who real not title contenders. And more importantly, we'll see who is really contributing and performing, producing under the heat of the moment, under the heat of some pressure. It's time for us to do a little keep your cool temperature check with John C. Cassidy, Air Conditioning and Plumbing.
Keep your cool. This is the Temperature Check.
Mostly sunny. Highs in the lower 80s.
Presented by John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Keeping Palm Beach County cool since 1960.
Plenty of sunshine today with seasonal temperatures. We should recharge.
John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing, proudly serving Palm Beach County since 1960. Check out CassidyAC.com for more information. All right, a lot went on over the weekend. I'm going to steal Mike's answer because I think it's funny, but I'll start with here. And I'll start with a team that didn't keep their cool in the heat of the moment, under the heat of some pressure. The Cleveland Cavaliers, down 3-1 now in the series to the Indiana Pacers. Donovan Mitchell, who has been playing terrific in this postseason, kind of went cold a little bit. The whole team sort of went cold in that first part of Game 4 in Indiana after a good Game 3 win. Down 41 at halftime. And Indiana couldn't miss. They were scoring at will, but the Cleveland Cavaliers were bad. They were not good defensively. They couldn't hit shots. They had no flow offensively. And just a lack of guts, really. And now they're in no man's land. 3-1, outside looking in.
They're done.
Very hard. And we'll see if they'll... I doubt it. I think Indiana's good enough to move on. This can be a very hard game to win if they're a Game 6 in Indiana. Cleveland Cavaliers are my team that did not keep their cool.
Yeah, they got to win. By the way, they got to win Game 5 first, and Donovan Mitchell is questionable. The same thing happened as last year. The whole team got hurt, and I'm saying it now. They're soft, Colin. My God, Indiana's physicality, the way they play. Fair play to Rick Carlisle and the Pacers because they deserve this series. They deserve to be up 3-1, and they deserve to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. And you want to know who's got the last laugh? JB Bickerstaff. Remember, JB was the problem. No. The team is the problem. The core of the culture of the team is the problem because they are soft. Let me move on to mine, Kyle, who did not keep their cool. And thankfully, it was the Toronto Maple Leafs because the Panthers tied this thing up 2-2.
Yeah.
The Panthers winning last night 2-0. And who could forget about that overtime thriller on Friday? I had that on with the Cavaliers on at the same time. 5-4. For the Panthers. The
Maple Leafs had him against the ropes in that game, up 3-1 for the majority of that game. Into the second period, they let him crawl back. Ugh.
So give me the Toronto Maple Leafs for not keeping their cool.
Yeah, the thing about Toronto and that series is I got to give Joseph Wall a lot of credit because he played well yesterday. He must have had 40-something saves against the Panthers at goalie, but they couldn't get anything going offensively. The Panthers, 2 great goals. The Sam Bennett one in the third period closed it. That Game 5, it's on Wednesday, so they got some time off back in Toronto. That's going to be a very interesting game. That game will determine the series. I think this is going to go 7 ultimately. But if it goes 7, that means Florida's going to have to win one in Toronto. So we'll see if they're able to do that. Toronto's been able to score. They've had now this series getting a little chippy. You saw Norlander yesterday with the cheap shot at the end of the game. So I'm very interested to see how Game 5 goes. I agree. This has Toronto written all over it. The fact that they gave up 2, but they had them against the ropes in Game 3. That would have closed out the series right then and there. So I'm a Toronto guy. Weirdly enough, I like the vibe of that team. Fun offensively, they could score, and they're a little bit of an underdog for a team that's so good in the Eastern Conference. All right, that's your team who did not keep their cool under the pressure of the moment. I got to give the Thunder a lot of credit. I really do. And that game yesterday, Game 4, Thunder Nuggets, the Thunder were poor. They did not play well. And so were the Nuggets. The Nuggets scored 8 points in the first quarter, which was like the 25 combined points between the two teams, which was the lowest in NBA playoff history. The NBA fans want to give the NCAA a bunch of crap for these teams or these players that can't score and the low scoring, a lot of misses, the whole thing. These are 48-minute games. We got a 17-8 final score at the end of the first quarter. There have been a lot of stalemates, especially offensively, and a lot of cold spells, dry spells, I should say. So I got to give the Thunder some credit because they were able to churn that out. Not a lot was going for them offensively. They were able to a couple more plays down the stretch. Jokic has not played well. The Nuggets, they're on and off. They've been on and off this entire postseason, so I'm not doubting them. But that was a crucial game. Thunder lost that game. They were not winning the series. And especially for a 68-win team, that's as big of a... And you want to talk about Cleveland being a disappointment, that's fair. But the Thunder, who have the second best net rating offensively and defensively in the history of the NBA, the second best. They won 50-something games by 10-plus points, which was an NBA record. 68-win team. If they lost in the second round, or if they fell down 3-1 worse off in the second round in the NBA playoffs, that's as bad of a collapse as we've seen since the Warriors in 2016.
It's a tricky matchup, though, because Denver has won a championship. They have a lot of that core, but I understand the point. I think the Cavs are more of a disgrace because they were down 3-1, and listen, I think they're the better team than the Pacers. The Pacers are just doing all the little things better. They want it more. That's the best way I could put it. All right, Kyle, my team that has kept their cool is the Boston Celtics. Now, they got to win tonight. We agree with this. They can't go down 3-1, but they kept their cool in a must-win game, I believe, on Saturday night. This was Jason Tatum, 40 minutes, 22 points. But the bigger thing, it wasn't necessarily one specific player. It was shooting 50% from 3. 20 of 40. 20 of 40 from the three-point line. Long a ways away. Kyle, they almost hit the same amount of threes in a single game they did in the first 2 games. They went 25 of 100 in the first 2 games. So going 20 of 40 from 3 will fix that. They got to get the job done tonight. But the team that I think Boston is, unlike Cleveland, they're a 60-win team that will be able to take care of business and bring this thing 2-2 tonight. I like the Celtics big again tonight. And by the way, I apologize. This was that 3:30 game on Saturday that we were complaining about.
Right. And 3:30 MSG, that building had no energy.
It didn't. And how about paying...
That hurt the New York.
Yeah, it did. And how about, Kyle, you paying $700? You a Knicks fan? I think it was Tracy Morgan sitting courtside. Guy probably spent $15,000 on those seats.
Right, and that game had a blowout written all over it. And it was beautiful in New York City. It was like 75 and sunny.
It was the first nice day of the year.
And New Yorkers, when they get their first nice day of the year in that Northeast, they will be out. They have no interest in watching the Knicks game. And it's a chore at that point to sit in at 3:30 in the afternoon and watch the Knicks Celtics game.
And I know we'll break this down in the second hour, but I expect the Celtics to win tonight. I don't know where you're at on that.
Game 3 went exactly as Game 1 and 2 went. Celtics just made shots. They could sleepwalk and beat the Knicks.
That's what I mean.
That's what they're so much better than. They got just so much more firepower. And that was the takeaway. We'll get into that in the second hour. That was our John C. Cassidy temperature check, of course, presented by John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. We'll do a little 5 and 5 with Christian Cat on the flip side of things. It's Russo Rizzo right here on ESPN 106.3.
The playoffs are heating up, but your home shouldn't. Stay cool with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds, through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs, with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
As market dynamics change, the quality and service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Partner-owned since 1923, Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver value where others can't. Visit ANCHIN.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones, remember, slow down, follow the signs, and stay focused. Workers are counting on you to get home safely, and so are their families. Let's work together to prevent crashes and save lives. A safety reminder from the Florida Department of Transportation. Slow your roll. Safety's the goal.
Did you miss Theoretically Speaking?
We got absolutely crushed on the course yesterday.
You stepped up to the 18 holes that we played with the same confidence that you had on the first hole.
Yes. When it comes to bad things, I'm like a professional NFL kicker in that way. I'm like some of the greats. I'm not sure if it's a defense mechanism or if it is just a deteriorating part of my brain. I struggled all the way through, and when we got to 18, I looked you in the eye and said, put 20 on it.
It's Theoretically Speaking, weekdays at 2, here on ESPN 106.3.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
This is the Inter Miami save of the game.
To the touchline, Yeboah left side. Good feed. Pereira. His cross. It went off of Ustari on the near post. It was mishit, and it hit the Inter Miami goalkeeper with Uluwaseyi making a strong run on that post, and now Inter Miami quickly on the move.
Brought to you by PNC Bank. PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865. Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour, Russo and Rizzo, right here on ESPN 106. We're with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat. If you missed any of the program today, you want to listen back, go listen in podcast format on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, all those great places. Also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, so watch back there. Second hour right here on ESPN 106.3. Well, you got the playoffs now getting interesting, especially Game 5, Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs in a couple days. Jets Stars getting interesting on the NHL side of things. You got the MLB still going. You got the NCAA and the College World Series coming up. You got the NBA playoffs. There's so much to watch. There's so much to look forward to. More importantly, there's so much to sprinkle a little action on with Hard Rock Bet. Get started now. Go download it in the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started. Hard Rock's the best because it caters to both types of players. If you're somebody like me a couple months ago who didn't really know how to navigate a sportsbook app, you just go and get started. The interface is easy. So you can put together a parlay easily. You can utilize a prop bet or a promo easily. You can utilize a game spread, the overs, the unders, you name it. They have it all over on Hard Rock Bet. And the best part is you get $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. So that first bet can be a parlay, prop, the over, whatever you like to bet, any game you choose. It's Hard Rock Bet, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager, terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT. We got Christian Cat helping us out behind the glass at the City Play Studios. Let's have a little fun here. Let's bounce around. Let's do a little 5 and 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU Athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Well, the Thunder evened up their series with the Nuggets with a 92-87 win yesterday. Now this series is all tied up, 2 games apiece. However, Hard Rock Bet is still very heavily favoring those Thunder in Oklahoma City. The odds have the Thunder as minus 600 favorites to win the series, Nuggets at plus 425. Do you agree with the experts in Vegas still heavily favoring the 1 seed?
You have to, almost. But, I mean, the Nuggets, they have shown time and time again that they're a bit of a polarizing bunch. There's one game where they put it all together, and then there's another game where they don't. Offensively, Game 3, for example, or even Game 1, they're able to sort of fire on all cylinders. You got Aaron Gordon here, you got Jamal Murray there, you got Jokic doing what he does there, Russell Westbrook on the bench. And there's some games where basically everybody is searching in need for a basket. They started 1 of 18 from 3 in Game 4. So because of that, I wouldn't necessarily count them out. I don't think the most important thing was being 2-2. I actually think it's a win for Denver to be 2-2 at this point. Am I worried for the Thunder? I'm a little less worried than I was 24 hours ago. But do I think the Nuggets still have a chance in this series? Absolutely.
I think this series could easily be 3-1 right now. Let's not forget Friday night. Aaron Gordon hit a big 3 in the corner to tie it up at 102 and a huge play to send it to overtime. Got to give credit to the Nuggets, though. They don't have a head coach, and they're still able to do this with their core players. It's the experience of the Nuggets versus, the young bucks of the Thunder. Let's not forget, too, the last time the Thunder were at home, it was a 40-point win. So I tend to agree with Hard Rock Bet, but don't sleep on the Joker, who's had a rough series. The Nuggets could easily win this one still.
Number 2.
Michael Jordan. He has joined NBC as a special contributor for their next season's NBA coverage. Is this the number 1 get in terms of a sports media personality addition?
Yes. This is bigger than Brady, too. This is bigger than Brady doing play-by-play of Fox, because Jordan's got he's a bigger sportsman, he's a bigger athlete, he's a bigger star than Brady ever was, to be honest with you. Brady was never bigger than football. Jordan was bigger than the league he played in. It's like getting LeBron to do it. Jordan is one of the top 3 biggest athletes in American history, no doubt. This is a huge get for NBC. It's going to get fans out of the woodworks to start looking forward to this. I'm very curious to see what the role actually is. If it's going to be, him being him and Shaq just bantering with each other, I don't know if that's the best utilization of his talents. But you're going to see him start to talk about basketball a little bit. He stays out in the shadows. You don't hear from Jordan. Jordan's out over here, Palm Beach Island, with Ahmad Rashad, going to cocktail bars with his boat. But him on the actual NBC coverage, that's a huge get. That's a bigger get than we've seen in years.
Absolutely. And I like MJ a lot, and I can't wait to tune on in. The Last Dance, I got to experience the 90s Bulls for the first time through that documentary and see how actually big Michael Jordan was when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, when I couldn't comprehend the madness that was one of the greatest players of all time. So I can't wait to watch number one. Number two, I'm not surprised it's NBC. To Colin's point, Ahmad Rashad, he always had a relationship with the TV network. So I think it's the biggest get that I could possibly think of. Brady was big, but to Colin's point, man, MJ's bigger than Brady, and there's a whole generation. My dad's generation, Colin's dad's generation, the boomers that are the same age as Michael Jordan that can't wait to tune in to watch this guy.
Let's think about the NBA for a second, who lost all that viewership post, let's say 2015, 2016. Some people might say it's the politics. Some people might say the bubble hurt. Some people might say the players are soft. Some people might say it was load management. Whatever you want to say.
Style of play.
No David Stern. They lost a good chunk of viewership, I think, from the older population who stuck with football and ditched the NBA. To Mike's point, what better way to get those fans out of the woodworks than to bring the biggest star the NBA has ever seen out into the limelight, into coverage on NBC. It's a brilliant move.
Yeah, the only people that I can think being added to their sports coverage that would be bigger than Jordan is maybe a Ronaldo or Messi on their respective leagues.
And that's
right?
it. And
totally.
That's
but that it's totally in American sports, it's Jordan 100%.
Number 3.
The Indiana Pacers shellacked the 1-seeded Cavs 129-109 yesterday to take a 3-1 series lead. Indiana at half led 80-39. Is this more about how good the Pacers are or how bad the Cavaliers are?
I think it's Cleveland was on an off day, but I think it's one more show that Indiana's good. Indiana's better than people give them credit for. Indiana can score. They got a deep bench. They even lost Mather in the early part of the game, and it didn't matter. They got two good bigs who could score and can shoot from distance. They got a great point guard who's a facilitator first. They got a lot of three-point shooting, and they apply a lot of pressure. I think Indiana's very good, and they could easily come out of the East, in my opinion.
The Pacers brought it physically. The Pacers brought the energy, and the Pacers brought the will to win. They understood what it took to win that game last night. Somehow, some way, Kenny Atkinson and the Cavaliers didn't. Kenny Atkinson said after the game, we knew what was going to be thrown at us. We didn't respond, and we didn't throw that same energy. It's on you, bro. It's on you. 64-win team going to go to absolute. You're going to lose in the second round, the same place that J.B. Bickerstaff lost. Hey, Cleveland Cavaliers, I thought all we needed was a head coach.
Number 4.
Now, we might be 4 months away from NFL football, but now that picture is finally time to take shape because it's been leaked that the NFL will open their season with a Thursday night matchup between the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles as they play host to the Dallas Cowboys. Eagles swept last year's series with Dallas for the first time since 2017. Are you happy with this selection the NFL made?
Listen, you're going to watch the game anyway. I don't understand the allure with the Cowboys. Bury them in the 425 slot, have them play the Bears, and then it'd still be a game that people got into. Have them do something like that. The Eagles, you almost want a bigger team in there. You know, they never got a chance to play the Lions. That might have been a good one. I'm not sure if they're on their schedule. Like, they never got a chance to, and that was sort of the collision course at the end of the season. I would have been more interested in something like that than the Dallas. I understand Dallas sells, but you don't need a big market team like Dallas. You put Dallas in the 4 o'clock slot to make sure the 4 o'clock slot gets 40-something million people watching it, 35 million people watching it. You don't need it on opening night. Opening night is going to do numbers regardless. Ship Dallas to Brazil, and then maybe that will help. Put Dallas on Good Friday. That would help. Dallas gets ratings. I don't understand putting them in the opening game.
Listen, I love Jerry Jones. All right, I do, but I think the NFL needs to stop acting like it's 1995. No, I don't want to see the Cowboys play this game against the Eagles. I'd much rather have seen the Commanders. The Commanders got smacked in the mouth in that NFC Championship game and beat them in the regular season. I would have loved to see Jaden Daniels and the Commanders play against Philadelphia. But, I think the league still thinks it's 1995. And I love Jerry. I think Jerry gets kind of a bad rap. But at the same time, enough. Don't need to see the Cowboys on the biggest spot against the Chiefs. How about this? The Cowboys and Jerry get to watch Jalen Hurts and company and Nick Sirianni receive their rings. Sure, that's going to sit well over there.
I got to say, I've been exposed as just simple-minded football fan in these last 3 hours because I started off excited for it. Then I realized if you dangle any football game in front of me right now, I would be equally excited.
You would have gotten in any game.
By you saying, give me the Lions. You're right. That is the collision course matchup that we should have gotten last year in theory. And yes, the Lions are not just slated to play the Eagles in 2025.
Yeah, they're number one in each of their schedules. Yeah, they should have played each other.
They're supposed to play them at Philadelphia. So it all would have worked out. That game is a possibility. The Broncos, they also play. Also, Chicago Bears were a possibility. Maybe less attractive. But yeah, there were better options out there where you took the air out of the balloon is how excited I was about this matchup initially.
Number 5.
Wrap it up with some fun. Welcome to the latest example of a massive franchise spinoff. Peacock will be airing a new show titled The Paper. This is the same mockumentary style that gave us The Office. It's set in the same world as The Office, where the mockumentary team will go to Toledo to give us a new version
Toledo,
of
Ohio?
that. Toledo, Ohio.
Wow.
You have the newest The Office. Rizzo, are you excited for this?
First I've heard of it. Absolutely. I'll give it a watch, but here's my issue. The Office was great because they didn't care who they, might have offended, for better lack of words. They did whatever the hell they want. My humor and 2025 humor might be a little different. So I don't know if I'm going to be laughing as much as I did in The Office. You guys completely get what I'm saying. The Office would have never aired nowadays with the stuff that they got away with.
Was it that bad?
Oh, God. The Oscar episode?
Yeah, but
come on, man. That would have never aired in 2025.
That wouldn't.
And it was hysterical.
That wouldn't have aired in 2017. The pendulum swung a little bit. We're
I
taking
guess.
big swings these days.
Are you sure?
I think so. People get mad about it, but it'll make money because people will watch.
Okay. But yeah, as long as it's under, give me the same humor as The Office. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Now, I know The Office was a remake, and I know they did it off a British version, and it still worked. I tend to disagree that very rarely does a spin-off, remake, that type of thing actually work, especially if you're doing it off something that's already successful a couple years removed. Like, they saw Suits on Netflix had a big uprising, and then all of a sudden they made a new one, and then the new one stunk, and they already got rid of it. But I was never an Office guy. I never thought it was good. I just don't like that style. It's dry humor.
What?
It just never really entertained me.
You don't like The Office?
He's a Three Stooges guy.
God.
He likes prop comedy.
No.
You like Carrot Top.
I do think there's a time and a place for that. But
Kyle, that's insane. You don't like The Office?
I don't think The Office is that funny. I never thought stuff like Parks and Recreation was funny. I never thought stuff like Community was funny. I just don't like those comedy shows, weirdly enough. And I have a sense of humor, I think. Maybe I don't, but that just doesn't necessarily...
Man.
It's like an easy watch, but it's dry. It's not... It's like it's sort of a sitcom, but it's not. It doesn't have the laugh track. It's more... I don't know. It just didn't work for me. I just didn't like it.
What's an example of a show that is funny that you did like or just not exist? You don't like comedy in episodic format?
Yeah, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't, because I never gave Curb Your Enthusiasm a shot, and I like Larry David's comedy. But I never gave that a shot. Never gave it a shot. Seinfeld here and there.
It's hysterical.
Friends I like not because I think it's funny, but because I think it's actually the characters are enjoyable watches. I think that's more about a chemistry thing than it is. I don't know. I'm not a comedy watch it media guy. I like comedy movies. I just never, and especially The Office. I was always a big Office hater. Everybody, wax poetically about it.
People are annoying about it.
They live and die by it. Guys, it's not that great, in my opinion. I just never thought it was great. You know what I watched? I'm going to seem old with this, but I watched it because I had to watch it with my parents. All in the Family, which was in the 70s. I watched that all the time, and I've seen the whole thing. That was a show that I thought was funny.
What about Animal House?
It's a movie.
The movie?
Yeah, but it's still a comedy.
Yeah, it's a good movie. No, movies I'm good with. I like the movies. It's just, something about the TV shows. I think comedy works in short spurts, and I don't mean it like over seasons of long things. I don't think it works as well. But if you're doing it over a 2-hour movie, I think there's success.
Christian, being drunk, fat, and stupid is no way to go through life.
Is that Animal House?
It is Animal House.
Never seen it.
Principal.
Good movie.
My dad's going to kill me. I forgot his name, but Principal so-and-so said that.
Good movie. Office is not that great. Well, let's
I think it is great.
It is great, though. Like, you're wrong.
It
on
wouldn't
that.
be popular
Colin,
if it wasn't
wrong.
great.
You're wrong. Dwight
I
Schrute,
watched it.
Michael Scott it literally makes the show.
You can't tell if you
Michael
don't like
Scott makes the show. Dwight Schrute.
It's not that good. Guys,
Made
it's not that
history
funny.
with
It's
how
not that
funny
funny.
that guy
This is
was on
annoying,
TV.
Because if you don't like any TV comedy, you can't be the arbiter that says this is not good.
Decent point. Friends is more funny than The Office is. And
I like them all. Office, Friends, and Seinfeld. Seinfeld's dude, Jerry and Seinfeld?
Seinfeld's
Costanza?
funny. Yeah, that's a funny show.
The guy allergic to
Backed up,
nuts.
Jerry!
That's a funny show. The Office, the dryness, I just don't think it works.
Again, this is someone who has a peanut allergy saying, yeah, you know what? Peanut butter and jelly is not good.
agreed.
You're actually wrong.
Yeah,
Peanut
you're
butter
wrong.
is
Yeah,
also
you are.
not very good at either.
Yeah, but you're wrong on both fronts. Wrong on both
The
fronts.
Office is
maybe
not,
maybe
it's
if
not
hang
a
on,
big time
hang
show.
on, Christian. Maybe if he ate peanut butter, he wouldn't have soiled himself with that goo he ate on his run.
I probably would have made it worse, to be honest with you. But, I mean, it's just not that
Better
big
than
time
that.
of a show.
Better than the goo that you ate that made you, have a wet stinker.
That's not your business to share. We got to do a little Jonathan Zazzo on the flip side of things from the Zazzo Show 2.0. Stick around for it. Coming up next, Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3. Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Hi, I'm Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. As you have likely seen and heard, law firm advertising is at an all-time high. Attorney ads seem to be part of every radio and TV commercial segment. Some firms are even using paid actors and actresses to speak for them. At Smith Ball Baez and Prather, we know that the decision to hire a law firm should never be based on advertisements alone. It is our past results and many positive 5-star reviews that we encourage you to read at smithball.com to learn more about our law firm. We have board-certified lawyers. We have lawyers listed in the best lawyers in America and in super lawyers. But most importantly, we have experienced lawyers located right here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast that are ready to be your advocate and your voice, and fully prepared to start fighting for your legal rights today. Our purpose, legal power. Our mission, huge results. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Football legends collide at the opening match of the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Al Ahly versus Inter Miami. Messi, Jordi Alba, and Inter Miami take on Jamal Mashour and Mohamed El Shenawi of the Egyptian powerhouse Al Ahly. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Saturday, June 14th at Hard Rock Stadium. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
The pink smoke is taking over South Florida. Listen to Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Sergio Busquets, and Jordi Alba and Inter Miami in their pursuit of an MLS Cup all season long right here on ESPN 106.3.
Messi, left foot, in on Guzan, tips it up and over, it's a goal! Lionel Messi is on the board!
Listen to it all on the Deportes Radio FC app, brought to you by PNC Bank, Audi, and Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Frauenrath.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Rolling on here, Russo and Rizzo, May the 12th, 2025, a Monday rainy edition right here in South Florida, ESPN West Palm with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat. Welcoming in good friend of program. The Panthers tied it up at 2-2 in Game 4 yesterday. Welcoming in the voice of the 305, it's Mr. Jonathan Zaslow.
You might know him as the Cooper City Rattlesnake. He's the human flamethrower of Miami sports radio.
Hey, you could be a maniac without being a jerk.
The preacher of the Pat Riley Gospel.
They don't complain. They don't make excuses. This is the NBA. Deal with it.
The mayor of Dolphins Delusion.
Can the Bills offense keep up with the Dolphins offense?
And the only guy who can go from breaking down the Panthers power play to cutting a full-blown Ric Flair promo. Woo! Jonathan Zaslow is the voice of the 305.
Mr. Zaz, we appreciate you joining us. How you doing?
What's up, my dogs? How are you? I'm in a great mood today. I pulled up to both Panther. I had to pull up. I pulled up to both Panther games 3 and 4 with the family this weekend. I am in a great mood. I feel great about my favorite little hockey team.
Well, Zaz, let's start with that, especially with Game 3. Game 3 was a classic, an excellent game, and it's a game that the Maple Leafs had the Panthers up against the ropes, and I got to give the Panthers credit for rumbling back in that second period and taking that lead. What was your takeaway? I mean, now all of a sudden it's tied up 2-2. Game 5, you got a couple days now. Going to have to win in Toronto to win this series. Do you have confidence in the Panthers here? Is this a choke job, or is this going to be a little back and forth as we close out?
Game 3, Friday night is going to go down as one of my all-time favorite sports fan memories. We were there, me and my boys. Incredible night. And then last night, they just got back to Panther hockey. Think about how close the Leafs were to ending this series. They're up 3-1 in the second period.
They had him.
And you let the Panthers come back, and now last night, that was the Stanley Cup champion you played last night. That was Panther hockey. I would imagine you poll the Panther fan right now, how do you feel going forward? We feel great. If you poll the Maple Leaf fan, they think it's a total choke. They think they have no chance. They're very, very scared. And here's the thing. Bobrovsky, who was bad the first 2 games
they
of
were
the
scoring
series,
at will.
Bad. From overtime in Game 3, and now all of last night, now he looks like the Stanley Cup champion goaltender. He looks like Bobrovsky again. And look, full credit to Joseph Woll for Toronto.
He played
game
great.
Of his life last night.
Yeah, he had 40-something saves. He played good.
That game could have been 5-0 in the third period if not for Woll. He kept them in the game, but man, the Panthers shut them down last night. So you're right, Panthers still have to win a road game, but that's not an issue. I mean, the Panthers have been a phenomenal road playoff team over these last 3 postseasons. You know, they were 3-0 in Tampa in round 1. And so you got to figure a team that's been phenomenal in the postseason on the road the last few years, are they about to go 0-3 in Toronto on Wednesday night? I don't think so. I love the Panthers' chances the rest of the way.
Yeah, and Zez, hockey's a tough one to win 2 in a row at.
Yeah.
I think out of basketball, again, I'm comparing it to the NBA. I think figuratively hockey is really tough to win 2 games in a row. I was really impressed with the Panthers as
the margins are just so small.
Yep.
Like they're playing their game last night, yet it's 1-0, and I'm like, okay, we're dominating, but literally all it takes is one shot from the Leafs,
right?
And then all of a sudden it's a tie game, and who knows what the heck can happen. So hockey can be cruel like that. It felt for a moment like one of these teams were going to get goalied, and it ended up being the Panthers wind up coming through. So I feel great about them right now. They look like the Stanley Cup champs again. They look like they're just getting stronger throughout the series.
Do you think that Game 5 is going to be a chippy one with how yesterday ended?
Yeah, Max Domi fined, not suspended for a very dirty hit as time was running out. And I will tell you the same thing I said on my podcast today, Zaslow Show 2.0. You can check that out wherever you get your podcasts. You may think I'm going to sit here and scream from the rooftops that Max Domi should be suspended. I don't believe he should have been suspended. I think they got it right. That's not a suspension in the playoffs. Now, if Barkov got hurt on the play, I'd be screaming a different tune. Thank God he did not get hurt.
And also, the Sam Bennett hit 3 games ago, and they lost. They lost to Lars for a couple games, and Bennett was fine.
Colin, to that point, and you don't want anybody to get hurt, but this is the kind of stuff that takes place, maybe even has to take place, if you're winning a Stanley Cup. This is the kind of stuff that happens. Every team's got 1 or 2 dirtbags who are going to do dirtbag stuff throughout the series. It doesn't mean it's okay, but it means that in that sport, this kind of stuff happens. So I don't like what Domi did. Thank God Barkov's okay. I did not think it's a suspendable play, and he's not suspended.
Jonathan Zaslow joining us now. Zaz, when you're watching the Panthers, you got to tell me this. If you're at the game, if you're watching the game from somewhere, what's your drink of choice when you're taking in some Panther media?
I mean, this is very easy. Let me tell you about Yuengling, all right? America's oldest brewery and a proud sponsor of the Panthers. Yuengling Traditional Lager, a beer that, like true legends, stands the test of time. It's brewed by the same family for nearly 200 years. They know what they're doing, all right? They put in their 10,000 hours. It's a crisp lager with the bold, smooth taste that is perfect for game day. Whether you're cheering from the stands or you're watching from your favorite bar or you're in the Zaslow Mansion, Yuengling is the taste of tradition. Yuengling, legends stand the test of time. And let me tell you guys, this Wednesday, I'm doing another Panther pregame with ESPN 106.3, all right? I will be there at the Iceplex in Fort Lauderdale, the War Memorial Facility. So you come out there to the Baptist Iceplex. I'll be doing a pregame there from 6 to 7 with you guys. We'll stay. We'll watch the game. From what I understand, they do a tremendous watch party there at the Iceplex at War Memorial. So I'm very much looking forward to hanging out and watching Game 5 with all the Panther fans.
Yeah, we'll be there as well. Looking forward to that quite a bit. Let's segue into the NBA a little bit. Over the weekend, especially tonight, too, you got Knicks, Celtics, Game 4. The Thunder were able to tie it up. The Cavs were sort of the odd man out and the team that fell behind 3-1. Do you still have confidence in your higher seeds here, or are we going to see a bit of a mix and match in terms of what lower seeds move on?
Yeah, the Wolves, I don't believe, are going to lose another game this series. And that's because Curry's probably not coming back till maybe Game 6, if it even gets there. I don't think it's going to get there. The Warriors are lucky. Like, you almost say the Wolves, you blew a golden opportunity. Curry left Game 1 early in the second quarter. You're down by only 12. The closest he got was 9.
On your home court, Zaz.
But that game was close. They survived that game. That was like, we got to get to the end of this. We got to get to it hits zeros. And then all of a sudden, every game is like that the entire way.
Like they should be going for the sweep tonight.
Right.
All right? The Wolves are not going to lose another game this series. Celtics and Knicks, look, I hate the Celtics so much. There's no other way to put it. And it's resulted in me rooting for the Knicks, which is obviously an abomination in the Zaslow Mansion. But I can you at least give us a game? I felt Saturday afternoon, Game 3 at the Garden, I thought it was the most interesting game of the entire postseason at that point. Because it's like, I got to know what's going to happen.
Right.
Are the Celtics actually going to go down 0-3? Are the Knicks going to do the impossible? And it's going to be such a rowdy atmosphere at the Garden. I was so intrigued. What is going to happen? And it was such a dud of a game. So hopefully they give us something here tonight because, man, it would be so cool if you get to the fourth quarter tonight and that game is close.
Yeah, the way I look at that is the Celtics have ultimately they sleptwalked and they've led the Knicks for about 95% of the series.
Yeah, and Zaz, if I could even chime in here, the Celtics hit 23s. They almost tied the number they hit in the first 2 games of 25 in one game.
Yeah.
They shot 20-40. They hit 50% of their threes. If they play like that, they will be hoisting that trophy again for the second straight year.
I hate the way they play so much because
it's the worst. It's gimmicky. Zaz, is it not gimmicky?
They're beating you with math. That's what they're doing. And like I like advanced stats. I like having as much information as I possibly can to come up with an opinion on what I think is going to happen. But they literally are winning games with math. And when the Celtics play, it doesn't even matter how talented they are because they're very talented. When the Celtics play, it comes down to one thing. Did they make 3-pointers?
Exactly.
If they made 3-pointers, they won the game. If they didn't make 3-pointers, they lost the game. And I'm sorry, that's not the kind of basketball I want to watch.
Zaz, what do you think about the Thunder here? Do you think that Denver can strike back, throw another good punch before the end of the series, or are they going to pull ahead?
Denver's the toughest team this postseason for me to get a good
polarizing. They're polarizing. They're good highs and low lows.
Yeah, I just, from game to game, I don't have a feel. You know, sometimes, hey, that's a champion, and they got the best player in the world. Of course they're going to be great. But then how do you come out and lose by 43 in game 2 when you got a chance to go up 2-0 if you win another road game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I have a very difficult time pegging this Denver Nugget team. I would assume that Oklahoma City got back on track with that win yesterday. One of the biggest wins in franchise history for Oklahoma City, if we want to be honest here.
Definitely.
I think they got back on track, and Oklahoma City, I think they take a 3-2 lead after tomorrow night.
It says, let's not forget Friday night either. It was 102-99, and Aaron Gordon, all right, I guess big shot Gordon this play. He hit a 3 that basically forced that to overtime.
Yeah.
They were a play away from being up 3-1. Now, what I was impressed the most with the Thunder is they were able to pull that out in a close game. You know, the Nuggets have the experienced players. They're the championship winner. But the Thunder were able to pull that late game out in Denver. I was really impressed with that.
I will also tell you, I take exception. You know, Jokic has not been good. I take exception to those who will say that Jokic is struggling. He's tired. He's been carrying the team all year long. He does it by himself. No. There's another team on the other side there that's forcing him to play that way.
Yes.
There's a young team that is super physical and is very good defensively that is forcing him to play poor. It doesn't have to do with he's tired from the entire season and doesn't have enough help. No, that team he's playing it, they won 68 games this year. That's what's going on.
Zaz, Pat Riley had his season-ending postseason presser, and then Giannis comes out today, says he wants to go play a place without income tax, or Miami's on the list. Pat Riley said they're open to adding a star. They're going to definitely not going to run it back exactly the way it is, but he sort of left it open-ended on that front. What's your perspective on the Heat offseason?
I would be almost certain that Giannis is interested in coming to the Heat. But herein lies the Heat's biggest problem over the last few years. There's no such thing as free agency in the NBA anymore. When there was free agency, you get Pat Riley in a room with just the player. Close that deal. But now, free agency is every year. It doesn't matter that you're under contract. And you can have a player like Giannis who is interested in coming to the Heat. I am sure he is interested in coming to the Heat. But okay, you got to convince the Bucks as well.
Right.
You got to convince the Bucks to send him to you. And you got to convince the Bucks that the package you're going to send them is better than the package that 28 other teams are offering you up for Giannis. And that's where, you say Pat Riley's failed, he hasn't been able to do anything the last few years. That's the issue right there, is that there's no more free agency. It's so hard to get deals done because you don't have to just convince the player. You have to convince the team that's losing the player to send him to you. So I am sure that Giannis is interested. I have a hard time believing, unless Milwaukee really wants to do the thing where, okay, Giannis, you tell us where you want to go, and we'll get the best deal possible from the team that you want to go to. Outside of that, I got a hard time believing that the Heat are going to be able to land him, but I'll tell you what else to keep an eye on, guys, tonight. Tonight is the draft lottery, all right? And depending on which team gets the number 1 overall pick tonight, keep an eye on that team as far as the destination for Giannis. Guys, you tell me if San Antonio lands the number 1 overall pick tonight, Milwaukee and San Antonio are not going to be on the phone? Hey, we'll give you Giannis. You give us the number 1 pick.
Wow.
That'd be.
Yeah,
I don't know if they
really,
would. I think I'd probably take the young player of
That's
how
a conversation
It
starter.
is. No, Zaz,
Conversation,
for
though.
sure. And I was about to say, that is definitely something you bring to the table.
Keep
that
an
is
eye on who gets the number 1 pick tonight.
That is something that teams like the Heat and teams that played well this year enough to make the playoffs, I'm doing air quotes, won't be able to offer.
Correct.
Interesting.
Correct.
Zaz, I'm curious here to segue finally. Christian Cat and Mike Rizzo are big fans of The Office.
Right.
I don't think it's that big time of a show. What's your perspective there?
I think it's. I know it's one of the greatest comedies.
Oh,
of
you're
all
one of
time.
those too. Okay.
I mean,
awesome.
one of those. I'm one of those who likes good comedy. Yes, sign me. I am in that category.
Zaz,
It's not that good.
can you do me a favor? Look at Colin Russo through that camera and tell him he is wrong.
It's not that good. It's
because
not
he
that
is
good.
wrong.
It's not that good.
He is 100%
it's
wrong.
the dry comedy.
Here's
you
the
got to
part that I
rely on a
object to.
whole lot working. I don't
Here's
know.
what I object to. All right, Colin. You're allowed to not like The Office. All right, but when you say it's not that good, that's the part that gets ridiculous. Okay, I love Pearl Jam. You're allowed to not like Pearl Jam, but when you say they're not that good, that's where we start to sound ridiculous, okay? You don't have to like my brand of music, just like you don't have to like my brand of comedy. But to say that it's not that good, you're flat out wrong there. It's excellent. It's just not your style of comedy.
Wait, hold on. You just said the same thing but flipped. You said it's excellent. Not I think it's excellent. You just said it's excellent.
It
It's
is
one of the
excellent.
great
It is
comedies.
excellent
It is
form of
excellent.
comedy, but you don't have to like
It's the same thing, just flipped. I don't have to like it. You don't have to say it's great. Doesn't mean it's great.
Oh, it
You're
is
just
great.
talking about the perception here and the perspective of it.
No, I'm on the record. It's great.
Yes,
oh, it's great.
It
baby.
is great. And
Yeah.
and Zaz, last thing from me, you got to catch up on Raw. All right, I need someone to be able to. Brian,
Well, I mean, there's nothing to catch up on now. I
all
watched
know is
Backlash Saturday. I got to
Zaz,
watch tonight.
Quickly, because I know Colin hates this. All I know is this: our director of ops, Dave Judah, my
on.
content director, Brian Rowitz,
Go on.
Christian Cat, 4 key
I know.
people who got me into wrestling.
All the cool kids.
You're not caught up. Nobody's caught up on Monday Night Raw. What's going on
I
here?
watched the pay-per-view.
Of course I watched it. Are you kidding me? I would never miss a PLE.
I'm asking Rizzo, Mr. Wrestling over here.
I'm saving it to watch it with the buddy.
Oh, well,
Here's the thing.
you need a catch.
Here's the thing. I had Inter Miami on Saturday. I couldn't watch it. All right.
Wasn't it at like midnight? Was it at night?
Inter Miami?
Yeah, but then I had obligations after. I couldn't watch it. Zaz, I couldn't watch it. All right.
Fake
and then my
fan.
I was
one
talking about
buddy,
the
I go to watch it on Sunday, and boys, there's this thing called Discord. We could stream it, whatever. We could watch it together. My buddy's like, Riz, let's wait and watch it together because I have a friend back at home who loves it. I'm into wrestling, so I'm waiting to watch the Peacock
Come
stuff
on.
later on after Raw tonight. I'll be up
All right.
late watching some wrestling. But Zaz, no, come on. No one's watching Monday Night Raw anymore?
I'm sorry. I missed
You're right.
1 week.
You're
1
goddamn
week
right,
I
Mike.
missed.
No one's watching Raw anymore.
You're right. You're right. Zaz?
I'm watching it tonight. I missed 1 week. I mean,
okay.
give me a break. I'm living my life here. Come on.
Okay. So you can't say that Colin can only express his opinion on The Office, but he can't make a statement on whether it's good or bad.
Colin,
and
you're
then
not
turn
into
around,
Seinfeld?
and then turn around and say it's excellent. Not I think it's excellent.
Oh, it's excellent, baby.
It's excellent.
Is hypocritical, my
No,
friend.
it's
That
excellent.
is
You're wrong.
hypocritical.
Colin, you are 100% wrong on not liking The Office.
I'll tell you,
I think
Colin has to
85%.
he has to be the youngest person whose favorite comedy is All in the Family.
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
Colin, it's not my
I don't even
favorite.
know what it
I'm
is.
just
Zaz,
saying it's good.
Zaz,
I'm saying
I'm 30.
it's good.
Zaz,
I'm saying it was funny. It was good.
Jonathan Zazzle, I'm 30 years old. I have no idea what that is. I know the Brady Bunch. I know Full House.
You see, this
All
is
in the Family.
All in the,
Who?
You never heard of All in the Family?
What?
This is a big
Come
time
on,
show, Mike.
Archie
Mike,
Bunker? It's
No,
a
no
very big
idea.
show.
Mike, this
No
was
clue.
the biggest show in television for 15 years. Come on.
No clue. And I don't know what the hell it is.
This
So-
is not it's not big enough for
I know
your
Family
blinders.
Matters.
This is that you
No, I don't know what it is.
You
either.
don't know
No
what it is
idea,
either.
Christian. No
Wow.
You should
idea.
look
No
it up.
idea.
Wouldn't fly in today's social climate.
You
but
should check
nonetheless.
out the ratings
Yeah,
of
just
what
like
All in
The
the Family
Office
used
says,
to
by
do.
the
I
way.
know there's only 5 channels then, but it used to do big time ratings.
Zaz, quickly. They're remaking, not remaking, but they're like doing a similar
Spin-off.
Office show spinoff. Dude,
I
The
saw.
Office would not fly. And I told these boys, The Office, how funny it was, and it would not fly nowadays. People would get too offended.
I don't agree, and I'll tell you why. It's still on every day, Mike. It's on reruns every single day.
But you understand what I'm saying, though. Like back then, people
That it would not have
I
been
know.
created now?
I think you're completely wrong because people watch it constantly nowadays.
Yeah, I think you're wrong about. I think it's an interesting point to think about, Mike. But I think you're wrong. It's literally on every.
Okay,
single
I
day
hope
still.
so. Because boys, you know how this is with some of the stuff that they died.
Way to dance around it.
All right.
Zaz, where can people tune into you if they want to listen to more?
Yeah, Zaslow Show 2.0. I'm all over the Panthers in the Stanley Cup playoffs, obviously, but everything 305, everything Miami related, wherever you get your podcast, Zaslow Show 2.0. You like, rate, comment. I love you long time. Do all that stuff. And every episode is presented by Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. 800-747-FREE. You're involved in any kind of an accident, they will get you the compensation you deserve. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. 800-747-FREE. 800-747-3733.
Appreciate it as always, Zaz. We're looking forward to talking next week. Actually, we'll see you on Wednesday.
Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to the game on Wednesday.
Can't wait to see you Wednesday, Zaz.
Are you guys going to stay? We're all going to watch the game together?
Huge game. That's a huge game.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Excellent. Great
Looking
job.
forward to that. That's Jonathan Zazzo, of course, from the Zazzo Show 2.0. We're going to close out the program, go streaking a little bit with Hard Rock Bet. Next, it's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Well, you got a couple games tonight. Most notably, you get the Celtics and the Knicks. Wow. Game 4 tonight. Set Knicks up 2-1. This is a make-or-break game. The Knicks go down 2-2. I have high doubts. I have high doubts for them winning the series regardless. But if they go up 3-1 and I'll steal another one, then all of a sudden it gets a whole lot more interesting. T-Wolves Warriors game 4 tonight. I tend to lean on the side of Jonathan Zazzo, who we had on last segment, that without Curry, it's going to be a steep uphill battle for the Warriors to keep pace with them. So we'll see how that goes out then. We got Christian Cat, Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Russo ESPN 106.3. A couple NHL battles tonight. You got Game 4 of the Oilers Golden Knights, and the Golden Knights had that great last-second finish to win their game in Game 3. And the Capitals Hurricanes, where Carolina leads that series 2-1. A lot to choose from. So let's have some fun. Let's go streaking with Hard Rock Bet.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
We can't lose. We can't lose. We can't lose.
Survive and Advance is the name of the game.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure!
Tail the hot hand.
Continue this improbable run! 22 consecutive wins!
And fade the cooler.
Everything he touched turns to mush. People go to the racetrack and the teller will give him his tickets already ripped out.
Let's go streaking.
We're going streaking!
presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Let's go streaking Hard Rock Bet, where we're putting together a couple bets a week where we're trying to stack together wins or stack together losses. Christian Cat, myself, and Mike Rizzo will give a pick against the spread courtesy of our friends over at Hard Rock Bet. I won my last one. So now I'm at 2 in a row winning here. Mike Rizzo, what are you at?
I'm L.
You took OKC in game 3, I believe, right? Or am I wrong on that?
No, you're right, and I lost that. I am L2 because I was L1 going into that. I'm L2.
Right.
Back on the winning side.
Yeah, what'd you win again?
I won with Australian rules football.
That's right.
It was incredible. What a win from the fellas down under. Collingwood football took it to Fremantle, 97-83. Except for underdogs in that game. Didn't matter.
Nice.
All right, so we got to make some picks against the spread. Now you got 2 NBA to choose from tonight, and you got 2 NHL, or you want to go to the MLB route. For me, I hate doing it because I like rooting for the Knicks, but I'm going to go Celtics -6. I think that's a favorable line. I'm going to steal it before anybody else does.
Good pick. I was going to pick them.
I think we're going to go 2-2 going back to Boston here. I think it's just going to be too much firepower. If the Celtics, if they hit a marginal amount of their threes, they could win the game. They could sleepwalk to another victory. I think we're going to see that again.
Agreed. 260 win teams. I don't think both of them go down 3-1. Give me. I like that bet a lot. I'll go Wolves 5. It's probably a sucker bet.
Timberwolves.
But yeah, sorry,
plus
Timberwolves
5.
-5.
-5.
Yeah, sorry.
That's why you got to do the number, so I know.
-5. Timberwolves -5. They won by 3 last game. Jimmy Butler had like 33, 7, and 7. It's probably a fool's bet. Colin, they haven't played well this series. They really haven't. The Wolves have not played well this series, but give me them -5. I agree with what Zaz said earlier. I don't see them win. I don't see them losing another game with Steph Curry not playing.
Now, the one thing I'll say is the Warriors know this. They know they just have to get one. Because if they got Curry in the lineup, anything's sort of possible.
Agreed.
They need to get one win, and they know that. They need one game, one of the next 2. So I think they're going to play really hard tonight. Christian Cat.
So I'm in a 1-game winning streak. Got off the snide before the weekend, and I'm going to head to the ice because apparently the world has forgotten the Capitals won 51 games this season.
It's Christian's team he roots for, by the way. He's betting with his heart.
Their puck line is -110. Give me the Capitals +1.5. Capitals are on the road. Home ice, road ice means the least out of any of the 4 major sports. Give me the Washington Capitals to tie this series up at 2 games apiece.
I'll tail him on that. For some reason, I like Christian doesn't bet with his heart. He's betting with his heart once. You're betting with your heart, brother. I'll tail you.
That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a bad thing.
It's a good thing.
That's an emotional bet they call it.
So what? The bet I took with the live line I took at Cleveland -2.5 wasn't good yesterday. Was that betting with my heart?
When was it 2.5?
It was when they were.
What, like 30 seconds into the game?
Just Colin. Just stop.
It was probably like +20 for the remainder of the game. When was
stop.
it? When was it -2.5?
Dude, I was live betting like a degenerate when it was 16-2. So all I know is I'm miserable. Honestly, I'm miserable with that Cavs team right now. I've held it together long enough on the show to not freak out about it.
You haven't given the Pacers credit yet. The Pacers are good.
Colin, a 64-win team. They're going to be one of 2 teams that have won 60 games in NBA history to not reach their conference finals. And famously, it was like the Spurs team. Who did they lose to in the
Thunder?
Yeah. It was that Spurs team.
That was 2016.
Can I be completely honest with you? It doesn't even count because the Spurs are so damn good for during that time era. Everyone forgets about it. This is one of the worst 64-win teams, softest 64-win teams we'll ever see. And yes, I will give Pacers a credit. And I texted you. I texted Christian for ideas for for the show. It's like the Pacers and their physicality showed up. They knew what it took to win that game. I blame the coach and I blame the soft as Charmin Ultra players that are playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Are you kidding me? 16-2? 16-2, and you're going to get injured again for the second year in a row? You can't handle injuries. How about you play people? I know we get on Thibodeau for not doing load management, playing 6 guys, 45 minutes. Maybe he's onto something. Maybe I need to come on over to that.
He's not onto something.
Because we play these kids 25 minutes a game, and then they can't go in the playoffs.
He's not onto something.
I'm done with it. I'm so doggone done with the Cleveland Cavaliers. How do you be 40 points at halftime?
41.
At halftime, man. Figure it out. You have to try to lose by 40. It's like they were trying to lose by 40, man. What's going on?
Same guy, Mike Rizzo, who rained on Miami's parade when they lost by 55, and the Cavs turned around and had a loss like that to themselves. And you said Miami didn't belong in the postseason, but now it's because they need to figure it out?
Yeah, they don't belong in the postseason because a team that lost by 40 points and a half is about to lose by 5 games.
Yeah, maybe there's more merit to your argument.
To the Indiana Pacers.
But you wanted to rain all over Miami, and now Indiana is raining all over Cleveland.
To sit here and say the Pacers have the better roster, I refuse to believe that. They want it more. They're coached better. That's why they're going to win.
It's a better team. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo saying goodbye on ESPN 106.3.
It's Work Zone Awareness Week, Florida. Every year, lives are lost in work zones because of speeding and distractions. When you see orange cones,